90% of people will lose in Illuvium. Here's how you become the 10% that win.
All right, Nijafe. All right. Let's get into it. Tell me.
See, for anyone to earn money in Illuvium, somebody needs to lose it. And that's the same concept when it comes to, trading any crypto coin or even any stock. So in the stock market, if you buy like a Tesla stock for $100 and...
Are we talking about Illuvium investment or the gameplay loop? If that's going to be a net positive or net negative? Because that's still a big question on our minds, right? If we actually gonna, like, if you have a big sample size, 1 million overworld runs, would you get out with profit? Or is it designed so the house wins? Which would make more sense, because then it's a more sustaining economy. But then, like, long-time pro players or long-time players who want to extract value from it have a hard time doing so. So it feels like it has to be a net positive to satisfy the Web3 audience, and maybe you have that with land, so we don't need it in overworld. But if it's net negative, the best play is to play till you get lucky, cash out, and then never play it again. I don't know. Like, I would be really curious on answers on that, but I don't think they have answered that yet. It should be written in stone, though. Like, I'm sure they already have a system that they want to implement. Maybe we should ask them in the next AMA.
Goes to 125 and you want to sell it, that means there has to be a buyer at 125.
And if he's talking about investment, what he's doing right now with stock, that's my story. Or that's why I don't do day trading anymore or any like short-term investing, because I know there's people on the other side who do this for a job, who are professionals, and I'm their cash cow. Because I'm a noob trying to day trade. In the long run, they're gonna cash in on me, because all the cash they make is from people that trade worse than them, right? So that's why I'm not in there anymore.
For you to make some money on that. And it's similar for, Web3 games like, say, Axie Infinity. During the summer of 2021, more and more people kept buying into it, so the people who were there earlier were able to extract some money in
So a Ponzi scheme.
Earn from it. But the majority of the people that got into a game like Axie ended up losing. So when it comes to Illuvium, in one sense, it's the same, yet it's actually very different. So think about it this way. If you...
Yeah, we don't have a Ponzi. Axie was a total Ponzi scheme. Get in early, cash out on the people that get in behind you.
Plan a vacation or a trip to Disney World. Or say you bought a ticket to your favorite sporting event. You're trading your money for entertainment, for fun. Now, when you get back home from that event, if you think about just the monetary side of things, you lost. You lost money by attending that event or going on that vacation. But you're okay with it because the ROI expected was not from a monetary standpoint. You just wanted enjoyment. And that's what you get in good games. Gamers are willing to spend money, lose from a monetary standpoint, but trade that loss for fun. So think about in the traditional Web 2 games. You have Fortnite V-Bucks. You have Clash of Clans gems, FIFA packs, and Roblox bucks. Gamers are spending money on these games purely for the enjoyment of the game. Maybe that spend is helping them progress along quicker. Maybe it's giving them some skin or flex in a game. Or maybe it's making them stronger so they can defeat.
So I get it. We're actually not a Ponzi scheme, and you actually might lose money in the long run in Illuvium. But it's such a good game that it wouldn't matter, like, compared to other Web 2 games, right? The problem is this really going to resonate with the Web 3 audience that we're trying to attract? Because I feel like Web 3 and Web 2 audience have both so different values that they want to see in a game. Where one is like, I just want to earn money. Doesn't matter the game. And the other one is like, I just want to have a good game. Don't care about the rest. It's going to be hard to attract both. But Web3 is definitely our main audience, and from there I think we need to expand. But maybe there's going to be a shift happening in Web3 gamers' perspectives where they're actually like, oh, I can earn a little bit playing this. It's not all about earning, but I can still like justify my gaming with the earning aspect, and it's actually enjoyable. Like if people join Illuvium and they can earn at least something, they're never gonna go back to Axie, which is just a dog shit game, I think.
that next boss. They're not doing this for an ROI. And for these games that I just mentioned, they're all still in the, traditional Web 2 gaming space. So all the money that gets put into those games, the majority is going to the higher ups in that company. Some of that is being reinvested into making new games and improving their games, but a lot of it is just going into the pockets of the elites. With Web 3...
That's the funny thing, huh? Everybody's like, oh, crypto is scam, blah, blah, blah. And then you look at real world scenarios with like Web 2 games and big companies and, I don't know, Amazon Gaming, whatever. Dude, they're scamming people a lot. Like microtransactions or just like anything, Like even World of Warcraft. How genius must they have felt when they realized they can charge everybody every year for their add-on, which is like buying a new game. So they bring out their new game, their add-on for their existing game, and charge people for that one time. And on top of that, we can just ask everybody $13 a month because you don't need another game. We're constantly improving, constantly developing this. So if you pay us monthly, you can have this game which constantly evolves. Which just turned out to just reset your progress every year, and you still had to buy the add-on and still had to buy a new game. Instead of just buying a new game, playing it, and then buying the new game, you had to do that plus buy a subscription for World of Warcraft. I thought about that the other day, and dude, that's a really genius move they pulled off there.
Gaming, and especially Illuvium, things are a lot different. The participants...
Because you see it in like the Xbox Game Pass or whatever it is. That's subscription-based, but they don't charge you. Like, you cannot do it anymore these days. They cannot charge you to buy actually add-ons while you're actually paying subscription monthly. So that's crazy that World of Warcraft was able to keep that up for like 15 years or whatever. Charge gamers double.
Of this ecosystem.
A little bit on a tangent, it's not really the topic.
Are the ones that are actually benefiting. So whereas in Fortnite, if you want to buy a skin, you buy the V-Bucks, get the skin, and if you don't want that skin anymore, or you decide you don't want to play Fortnite anymore, oh well. You spent your money, you got your skin. Now let's say Fortnite were to shift to become a Web3 game. In that scenario, you could buy your V-Bucks, which might be an actual coin on-chain, exchange it for a skin, which will be an actual NFT, and if a couple months later, someone else says, ooh, I really want that skin that you have, they can buy it off of you and you can get that return. So there are a lot of people who hate on the idea of NFTs and being able to trade assets, but when you think about it, it's like, who do you want to hold that value? The elites at the top of that company, or the gamers who are actually spending the money in-game and playing the game?
To be fair, with Illuvium, the main point is the revenue distribution, right? 100% of the revenue goes to token holders. Illuvium holds some token themselves, so they're getting some revenue. But that's, like, you can see it plain and simple where the money goes. But that doesn't really have to do with the NFT side of things. Like, you could still have a blockchain games where all the money goes to the higher-ups. And usually that's the case, because people want money. That's why they do the whole thing. There's not many passion projects out there in Web3 that do it just for the love of it.
Illuvium is going to be one of the first games...
Well, there is, I'm sure, a lot of passion projects out there. But a big project needs a lot of money to work. And if you put in years, and if you hire really, really experienced people, you want them to get good money for their work, right? I didn't want to shit here on Web3 projects, because there's a lot of passion projects out there. But it's not like anybody would... It doesn't seem like there is an option where, for example, the old school style of games, right? You develop for years, then you bring out the game, people buy it, people pirate it, and that's it. Like, that's not... In this day and age, we need more income, passive income, if we are a gaming studio, it feels like.
In the Web3 space to actually have that AAA quality where people are going to want to play this game simply to have fun playing. When you think back of the concept of a monster collector like Pokemon, there are going to be people who are spending money in this game to collect these alluvials just to hold them in their collection. And these alluvials have value, but if they're not trying to extract value and they just...
Sorry, I'm pausing so much, but I want to go back to the skin example from Fortnite, which is all nice and cool, but I think the big part which is important for all of that to work is the rarity. And that's what we have with the monsters, with the Illuvials, because they are on a bonding curve, and as soon as there is, I don't know, whatever number, 1,000 Atlas catched, there's no Atlas gonna be there anymore. Or for example, there's 1,000 Atlas catched, now there's only like 10 left. And over the next year, those 10 will be caught, and then it's gone. And then you have that rarity, which people really also enjoyed, for example, in League of Legends, where you had the old skin, that like the pack skins and stuff like that, really special skins that wouldn't have a re-release. And that would be really special to people to have that skin. Nobody else can get it anymore, and I got it. And there is only 100 in the full League of Legends. Like there is skins in League of Legends that only like 10 people have or something like that. There's really extremely rare skins. They were time limited to get and really hard to get. And then they went kind of down the corporate structures 10 years later where they would re-release them, or there would be ways to get them. And this was always a very sad moment for me. They also had it in World of Warcraft. Like if you were purchasing Wrath of the Lich King Special Collector's Edition, you would get that, how is it called? Like the banner or whatever, a special item. And then now, 10 years later, they're like, oh yeah, get Amazon Prime and you get that special item. And all the WoW players are like, dude, like I was so proud of that. Nobody could get it. I got it because I got the collector's edition 10 years ago. And now he's just giving it to anybody with Amazon Primes. Like they lost thousands of players just with that move. And I didn't know where I was going with that, but exactly.
Want to hold on to these assets, then technically from a monetary standpoint they're losing. And then you have the other aspect of the game is the arena, where people are going to want to collect these alluvials.
Well, I kind of remember where I was going. So that's the important thing, right? It has to be rare, it has to be a time limited, you can get it and then never again. So people are really proud, really happy with what they have, because nobody else can get it anymore if you come in now. You got that OG rewarding feeling. And that's what is needed, and I think Illuvium really realizes that, and hopefully will never go back at that, and really keep first editions forever. I'm really sure they really, like, they know, they have been in the same struggle. They have been Pokemon players and gamers and everything, so they know exactly.
Without teams to compete. Maybe they need a really rare alluvial that's going to fit perfect in their team so that they can go and compete in the next tournament. So we've determined where this money is going, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3. Here's how you can take advantage of it in Illuvium. The first and easiest way you can take advantage in Illuvium is by buying the ILV token and staking it for revenue distribution. Now, to put it simply, it means when players enter the game and they're spending money in the game, that money is used to buy ILV off of the market and distribute it back to the people who are staking the ILV. So again, another way where the revenue coming in isn't going straight up to the elites of the company, it's getting spread out between the token stakers. The next way to take advantage of this is Illuvium Zero land. So the land is going to be what's generating the fuel that needs to get sold to the market in order for people to travel in.
Sorry. I think that point is always a little bit confusing when it's saying, oh, 100% is going to the token stakers. Well, how can Illuvium be self-sustaining if all their money goes away? Obviously, they have like, I don't know, 60% of the tokens, whatever the number is. You can ask someone else for that. A big chunk of the tokens is staked by Illuvium themselves, so they pay out themselves, right? I feel like I would like to mention that always when we talk about staking, because otherwise people, like after a day of thinking about it, they're like, wait, what? How can this even work? And then they ask and they're like, well, of course.
Play this game and do different in-game transactions. Now, what I forgot to mention about the ILV staking and the RevDis is that's 95% of the revenue. The other 5% of the revenue is going to the people who own the land and are playing Illuvium Zero. When the landowners produce X amount of fuel and sell it to the market, the DAO's coming in with 19X, so 95% of that, which is going to be used for RevDis, and the 5% is going straight to those landowners. And this last one is where I think the biggest opportunity is going to be. Now, this is not financial advice, but I think actually going in and playing this game in the overworld, farming the resources, so whether you're catching alluvials or other resources like shards and orbs, I think if you master the overworld and how to find and capture the best alluvials, if you're paying attention to the markets where you know certain resources are selling for higher on the secondary market, certain alluvials are selling for more on the secondary market, and you're going into the overworld to farm it with a purpose, I think that's going to be the biggest opportunity out there. And now on this channel, that's something I'm definitely going to be looking into. I'm going to be playing all aspects of Illuvium, but I'm going to be looking to make a return out of this. So I'm going to be combing the marketplace.
And there must be a return, right? Because we talked earlier about if you have 1 million runs, are you even going to make money? Or is it overall a loss, like similar like gambling and casinos? But there has to be an overall return because that's what the crypto space is all about. And so I think maybe the return And if you're net positive or net negative is going to be determined by how good you play, how fast you can. Maybe also the time investment is going to be taken into this calculation. So at the end, if you're really effective, really good at the game and fast, then you're going to be able to make a lot of money. Because instead of spending 1 hour to make $1 or $10 or $5, which wouldn't really be worth your time, you can spend 1 hour to make $50, and therefore it suddenly becomes profitable. Whereas $2 per hour would not be worth your time and you would overall lose. So that could be a nice distinction that we have seen also in arena and stuff, like top 1000 leaderboards. If you're the best at the game, you get a lot of money. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's also good to reward people just by putting time in. Casual players who just want to invest time are not the best at the game. They should still be able to earn a little bit, because that's kind of the core idea of Web3 gaming, right? You can be a pro player without being a pro player. You can be a recreational player and still earn a little bit of money. Which makes sense, because all that time you put into games is actually a lot of value for the companies. That's why free-to-play got so famous. Because just playing a game free-to-play brings a lot of value to the company. And that way it's also nice that people that are free-to-playing also get some rewards back. Yeah.
I might see a trend where, all right, so common shards are trending up in value. So whether I make a YouTube video about it or I put it out in a tweet on X, that could be an indication to go into the overworld and start farming those common shards. Or if there's a new game update and certain alluvials get buffed, that might be an opportunity to be like, all right, a Scoriox got buffed. So let's spend this week traveling to the Shard Bluff region to try to catch the Scoriox. Make sure you're subscribed to my socials so you don't miss these. And these are just the most straightforward ways to earn in Illuvium, but there really is many other opportunities. So check them out by clicking this next video. Thanks for watching.
Nice outro. That was clean. Thank you for the video, Nijafe. That was good.